Hi, Cubs, and we are going to continue our reading of The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about the question I asked you to answer yesterday, which was, why is our chapter named Beyond Expectations? And we said how it has two meanings, and you got very close to, like, some of you had exactly got one of the meanings. I don't think anybody put two meanings down, but several of you guys gave a meaning. They said, okay, well, they went to a place called Expectations. That's true. So, that was an answer that Nishvita and Desiree gave. And then, some people told me what it means. Beyond Expectations means to go, like Houston and Andrea said, it means to go past or to go past what you expect. Like, it goes beyond what you expect, right? That's what the chapter means, which is true. And Lou, by the way, Louisa also said that the place was called Expectations. So, when you think about that, and you think about the name of the place is Expectation, what it meant is kind of what Mason said, which is they are getting far away from not the expectations, like what it really means, but from the place of expectations, right? Now he's going past the place of expectation. This place right here. So here he's at expectations, and now he's going beyond it. So that was one of the meanings. The other meaning is one that actually several of you got, which is it's more than you, like Diley said, it's more than you expected or imagined. But then Sarvanch said, it's something that Milo did not expect to happen, and that is pretty important. So when he said that it's something that Milo did not expect to happen, that means it is gone past what Milo expected, right? It's gone far beyond what Milo expected. So not only is he moving past an actual place that's called Expectations, but Milo didn't think anything about this quote-unquote game would be interesting. And here, it's going beyond what he imagined or what he thought would happen, right? So that's kind of what the dual understanding, the two meanings of our chapter title. And Caden, I think also, I don't know, did I tell everybody? I know Caden responded too. So a lot of people had responses, and they were good responses, okay? So keep up that thinking work as we go and we finish this chapter. We're going to stop, and I'm going to ask you what you think probably, what you could have learned from this chapter. Because the cool thing about the Phantom Tollbooth, and Shrey will tell you this because she's read it, is that almost every chapter has something you could, like a lesson you can learn, something important you could take away from it. One of the reasons why Miss Canterbury loves it so much. All right, so remember he was driving miles, let's remind ourselves, and miles, and he was driving super slowly, and then eventually he just stopped. And then so I'm going to start from the very end over here, and then I'm going to come over here. And I might focus while I'm reading. I wonder where I am, said Milo in a very worried tone. You're in the Doldrums, wailed a voice that sounded far away. He looked around quickly to see who had spoken. No one was there, and it was quiet and as still as one could imagine. So when I look over here, remember, is the Doldrums, this curvy place, and Milo is stuck. His car is moving somewhere over here. Yes, the Doldrums, yawned another voice. But still he saw no one. What are the Doldrums? He cried loudly, and tried very hard to see who would answer this time. The Doldrums, my young friend, are where nothing ever happens, and nothing ever changes. This time the voice came from so close to Milo that he jumped with surprise, for sitting on his right shoulder, so you can imagine that, so lightly that he hardly noticed, was a small creature exactly the color of his shirt. Allow me to introduce all of us, the creature went on. We are the Lethargians at your service. So I want us to look at the word lethargians. It's got part of another word in it. Does anybody know? It's a big word. It's called lethargic. Do you know what lethargic means? Well, I want us to keep reading, and I want you to think about what could lethargic mean, because the lethargians are definitely lethargic. So we're going to see what that could mean. Milo looked around and for the first time noticed dozens of them sitting on the car, standing in the road, and lying all over the trees and bushes. They were very difficult to see because whatever they happened to be sitting on or near was exactly the color of what they happened to be. Each one looked very much like the other, except for the color, of course, and some looked even more like each other than they did themselves. Huh? Let's go back and read that again. Each one looked very much like the other, except for the color, of course, and some looked even more like each other than they did themselves. So just a clever way of saying they really looked the same. I'm very pleased to meet you, said Milo, not sure or not whether he was pleased at all. I think I'm lost. Can you help me, please? Don't say think. Said one sitting on his shoe, for the one on his shoulder had fallen asleep. It's against the law. It's against the law. Sorry, says he. And he yawned and fell off asleep too. No one's allowed to think in the doldrums. Continue. Oh man, they're making me tired, continued a third, beginning to doze off, and as each one spoke, he fell off to sleep, and another one picked up the conversation with hardly any interruption. Don't you have a rule book? It's Local Ordinance 175389-J. Milo quickly pulled the rule book from his pocket, opened to the page, and read, Ordinance 175389-J. It shall be unlawful, illegal, and unethical to think of thinking, surmise, presume, reason, meditate, or speculate while in the doldrums. Anyone breaking this law shall be severely punished. So I wonder it is how you can not even think. That's pretty hard to not even be able to think. Well, that's a ridiculous law, said Milo quite indignantly. Everybody thinks. We don't, shouted the lethargians all at once. So now maybe you've got a good idea. What does lethargic mean? So if you said it means kind of sleepy or lazy or slow, that's kind of what it means. So very good. And most of the time you don't, said a yellow one and a daffodil. That's why you're here. You weren't thinking. And you weren't paying attention either. People who don't pay attention often get stuck in the doldrums. Pause. I want us to think about that. So I want to rewind, and I want you to think about what he's saying, this lethargian, or she's saying. That's why you're here. You weren't thinking. You weren't paying attention either. People who don't pay attention often get stuck in the doldrums. So people who aren't thinking kind of get stuck in a place where they just continue not to think for a while. I wonder if that's true. And with that, he toppled out of the flower and fell snoring into the grass. Milo couldn't help laughing at the little creature's strange behavior, even though he knew it might be rude. Stop that at once, ordered the plaid one, clinging to his stocking, so his sock. Laughing is against the law. Don't you have a rule book? It's Local Ordinance 574381-W. Opening the book again, Milo found Ordinance 574381-W. In the Doldrums, laughter is frowned upon, and smiling is permitted only on alternate Thursdays. Violators shall be dealt with most harshly. Well, if you can't laugh or think, what can you do? Asked Milo. Anything as long as it's nothing. Everything as long as it isn't anything, explained another. There's lots to do. We have a very busy schedule. At 8 o'clock we get up, and then we spend from 8 to 9 daydreaming. From 9 to 9:30 we take our early mid-morning nap. From 9:30 to 10:30 we dawdle and delay. From 10:30 to 11:30 we take our early morning nap. From 11 to 12 we bide our time and then eat lunch. From 1 to 2 we linger and loiter. From 2 to 2:30 we take our early afternoon nap. From 2:30 to 3:30 we put off for tomorrow what we could have done today. From 3:30 to 4 we take our early late afternoon nap. From 4 to 5 we loaf and lounge until dinner. From 6 to 7 we dilly-dally. From 7 to 8 we take our early evening nap. And then for an hour before we go to bed at 9, we waste time. As you can see, that leaves almost no time for brooding, lagging, plotting, or procrastinating. And if we stopped to think or laugh, we'd never get anything done. I want us to pause. So they told us their whole daily schedule. Do they actually do anything? I mean, they eat lunch. But as far as that, that's all I could see is like they eat lunch. Everything else is all lounging and lazing around, right? You mean you never get anything done, corrected Milo. We don't want to get anything. Oh, snapped another angrily. Oh, gotta read that right. We don't want to get anything done, snapped another angrily. We want to get nothing done, and we can do that without your help. You see, continued another in a more conciliatory tone, it's really quite strenuous doing nothing all day. So once a week we take a holiday and go nowhere, which was just where we were going when you came along. Would you care to join us? I might as well, thought Milo. That's where I seem to be going anyway. Tell me. Oh, tell me. For he felt ready for a nap now himself. Does everyone here do nothing? Everyone but that terrible watchdog, said two of them, shuddering in chorus. He's always sniffing around to see that nobody wastes time. A most unpleasant character. The watchdog, said Milo quizzically. The watchdog, shouted another, fainting from fright, for racing down the road, barking furiously, and kicking up a great cloud of dust was the very dog of whom they had been speaking. And I want us to look. First of all, you're going to find in this book that a lot of things mean two things. And I want you to think about what you know of a watchdog. What is the normal, when we say watchdog, what do we normally think? Yeah, we think of a dog that's watching out for us, right? That's trying to take care of us, right? Or looking out. But if you look at this dog, what do you notice? Yeah, it looks like it's got a clock on it. Looks like I got a watch on the actual dog. So let's see what that's about. Run! Wake up! Run! Oh no. Run! Wake up! Run! Here he comes, the watchdog. Great shouts filled the air as the lethargians scattered into all directions and soon disappeared entirely. Exclaimed the watchdog as he dashed up to the car, loudly puffing and panting. Milo's eyes opened wide, for there in front of him was a large dog with a perfectly normal head, 4 feet and a tail, and the body of a loudly ticking alarm clock. "What are you doing here?" growled the watchdog. "Just killing time," replied Milo apologetically. "You see, killing time," roared the dog so furiously that his alarm went off. Maybe I didn't say that too well. "Killing time," roared the dog so furiously that his alarm went off. "It's bad enough wasting it without killing it." And he shuddered at the thought. It's bad enough wasting it without killing it. So he's talking about time, right? And he shuddered at the thought. "Why are you in the Doldrums anyway? Don't you have anywhere to go?" "Well, I was on my way to Dictionopolis when I got stuck here," explained Milo. "Can you help me?" "Help you? You must help yourself," the dog replied, carefully winding himself with his hind leg. "I suppose you know why you got stuck." "I guess I wasn't thinking," said Milo. "Precisely," shouted the dog as his alarm went off again. "Now you know what you must do." "I'm afraid I don't," admitted Milo, feeling quite stupid. "Well," continued the watchdog impatiently, "since you got here by not thinking, it seems reasonable to expect that in order to get out, you must start thinking." And with that, he hopped into the car. "Do you mind if I get in? I do. I love automobile rides." Pause. I know a lot of you guys have a dog. Does your dog like car rides too? Milo began to think as hard as he could, which was very difficult since he wasn't used to it. Still. So again, Milo began to think as hard as he could, which was very difficult since he wasn't used to it. I wonder how many of us can have a connection with Milo about that. It's hard to think because we don't do a lot of it. He thought of birds that swim and fish that fly. He thought of yesterday's lunch and tomorrow's dinner. He thought of words that began with J and numbers that end in 3. And as he thought, the wheels began to turn. "We're moving! We're moving!" he shouted happily. "Keep thinking," scolded the watchdog. The little car started to go faster and faster as Milo's brain whirled with activity. And down the road they went. A few moments later, they were out of the Doldrums and back on the main highway. All the colors had returned to their original brightness. As they raced along the road, Milo continued to think of all sorts of things, of the many detours and wrong turns that were so easy to take, and how fine it was to be moving along, and, most of all, of how much could be accomplished with just a little thought. And the dog, his nose in the wind, just sat back, watchfully ticking. And I believe that's the end of our chapter. So, I want you to think about what is the lesson that you could have learned from this chapter, because there is one, and there's one that Norton Juster actually puts in there for you. Because often, as readers in this book, we're going to learn as Milo learns. All right? So let me know in the comments what you think you could have learned. And here we are. We were in the Doldrums all this way. And now here we are back on the regular road. And remember, he's going to Dictionopolis. And here at the bottom of Dictionopolis is the foothills of confusion. So in our next chapter, just so we know the name of it, we can look at is 3. It's called Welcome to Dictionopolis. So it looks like they're going to get to Dictionopolis. Thanks for listening.